You may have noticed higher electric bills recently, and while electric rates aren't necessarily increasing, officials say the cost to generate that power is. And funding is coming to 2 eastern Kentucky counties aiming to fix roads and bridges in need of major repairs.
March Madness, it ain't just a basketball tournament. I'll have the latest on wild March weather on the way as First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
While winter is typically the time of year when we all see higher electric bills every year, they may be and are higher for many this year. And while electric rates are not increasing, the cost to generate that power has. Anna Bernison talked to local energy co-ops about why bills may fluctuate this time of year.
For most electric co-ops in central, eastern, and southern Kentucky, they all rely on East Kentucky Power to generate electricity for their customers. But the cost to generate that electricity with fuels like natural gas or coal has gone up, and you may see that reflected in your electric bills as well.
Every month across all electric companies, they have to take into account a fuel adjustment, which is then factored into customer bills. While they do this a few months in advance, it's all regulated and reviewed regularly by the Public Service Commission. This fuel adjustment always varies month to month and even year to year because it's all based on the market prices of fuels like natural gas and coal that helps create electricity. Usually this adjustment has been a credit on accounts, but due to rising prices, it's turning into a charge depending on how much energy you consume.
In the last several months, natural gas prices have been up to 4 times as much as what they have been in the past, and that's caused the cost to go up, and that's what's being recovered in that fuel adjustment charge.
Now the good news is that because those fuel adjustment costs are made a few months in advance, many power companies already know that March and April will be lower, meaning a lower cost on your electric bill as well. In Jessamine County, meteorologist Adam Bernison, WKYT.
While fuel adjustment charges can mean higher electric bills, our weather is also a driving force to increasing prices. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet announced today that funding will soon be available to help communities in 2 eastern Kentucky counties. The city of Hazard received $75,000 to help with road repairs, while the Breathitt County Fiscal Court received $200,000 for bridge repairs. Hazard City Manager Tony Eversole says the road in question here, Gorman Ridge Road, has been difficult to fund.
It wasn't working out. We needed to do some drilling and put some steel in there. And like I said, the first pot of funds we tried to get it fixed through, it didn't work out. So the state helped us out, and we're very, very appreciative.
Construction on that road began this morning. Officials in Breathitt County say they are still in the planning stages for their project. A project we first told you about in October is seeing a lot of progress as volunteers with Christian Appalachian Project work to build something better for a family in Floyd County. The Lafferty saw workers from CAP and CESO last fall adding new floors and planning to help renovate a home the family of 5 could no longer live in. Now that work continues as students from out of state are spending their spring break, lending a hand to complete the expansion project.
So I first came my sophomore year in college, and I just kind of fell in love with the area. The people here are completely amazing, and just being able to spend my spring break doing something bigger than myself.
Burke and other volunteers from out of state say it's nice to see the homecoming together for the family. Hear more from the work crew coming up tonight at 6.
The last of our heavy rain continues to push out of the mountains at this hour. We're going to continue to watch, though. Some spots still seeing the rain. For everybody else, though, the cold air is on the way in. Look outside right now. I-64 at Moorhead. It's actually getting a little bit drier this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, though that overcast is still with us. Drying out on the Mountain Parkway at Slade as well, thanks to both the rain moving out and some breezy winds on the way in. Look at these wind speeds, 10 to 15 miles per hour around much of the area. Look at Middlesboro, though, a sustained wind of 20 miles per hour. Factor in the gusts, 25 to 30 miles per hour. So we've still got some gusty northwest winds in there, bringing in some very cool air. Look at these temperatures. 59 Pikeville, 55 Harlan, 54 Wise. Look out to the west. It's 49 in London and 47 in Irvine and Monticello at this hour. So that cold front continues to push through the mountains, and it's pushing out the rain with it. So we're in for a chillier night tonight, because we're not going to see much in the way of any more rain, at least for tonight. Showers diminish. We're a little bit cooler, upper 30s and low 40s as those winds calm down. I'll have the latest, though, on when more showers return to the forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Britain's Queen Elizabeth met Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at Windsor Castle this morning. It was her first official in-person meeting after she tested positive for COVID-19 last month. The British monarch, who is 95 years old, is returning to more normal duties after previously suffering mild cold-like symptoms from COVID-19, canceling several engagements. Trudeau is in Britain to hold talks with Prime Minister Boris Johnson on the international response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The global death toll from the coronavirus has now surpassed 6 million people. Soon, the U.S. will reach its own sobering milestone, 1 million people dead from the virus. But cases have fallen in the U.S., now down to around 45,000 a day. Hospitalizations and deaths are also much lower.
It's a hard number to fathom because these are deaths. This isn't just a wide range of infections. These are people who themselves and family members have lost a life that's precious.
Around the world, COVID death rates are still high, including in war-torn Ukraine. Hong Kong is also battling a sweeping and crippling COVID outbreak. Local isolation centers there are maxed out. It appears that even mild COVID-19 can cause the loss of gray matter in the brain. Monday, the journal Nature published findings that even mild COVID infections can damage the brain, particularly the area related to smell. Scientists compared brain imaging from more than 400 people who had COVID with nearly 400 who did not. Researchers found that the brains of those who had COVID-19 had a greater loss of gray matter and abnormalities in the brain tissue. They plan on doing more images in 1 or 2 years to see if the damage goes away. It's been a stressful couple of years for many Americans, and that has people thinking more about their mental health and looking for help. Now some big chains are offering therapy in a place that might surprise you. CBS's Bradley Blackburn reports.
Shakira Teagle faced a fork in the road a few months ago. The 29-year-old newlywed felt real stress from the pandemic and decided she needed help.
It's not always easy to, just talk to the ones around you because we're all kind of like going through the same thing.
She started researching therapy options, but never expected to find it here, inside her local pharmacy.
Were you surprised to find this at CVS?
Yes, for sure. You walk into CVS and get some medicine, some soap, some toothpaste. You never think, hey, let me walk to the back and go schedule a therapy session.
CVS has hired licensed therapists like Luz Gomez Caceres in dozens of stores. She says in this setting, she's able to reach patients who might not feel comfortable in a traditional office.
It's the same service that you get. The difference is that it feels very casual because you're coming through the store.
4 in 10 Americans report symptoms of anxiety or depression, up 30% from before the pandemic. Now more than ever, therapy is in demand. Online therapy has boomed. And like CVS, Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens are all piloting mental health services in stores. CVS says these clinics make mental health care much more accessible. Patients can just walk in and wait for an appointment, and stores have expanded hours to nights and weekends. Teagle says she had trouble making an appointment elsewhere.
Coming here, I've learned ways to kind of, talk myself through situations and talk things out.
Finding the right person to talk to in a convenient place could make all the difference. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania.
Surveys show people often have trouble finding a therapist who accepts insurance, but CVS and those other big chains work with many insurance plans. Coming up on First at 4, Wall Street skidded and oil prices shot higher as investors respond to Russia's escalating war.
Well, good news, the rain is moving out. The bad news, cold air is replacing it. I'll have the very latest on the way next.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories you choose. The WYMT